Morning, Periscope. Oh, wait, let me get a better light. It's Laura Volpentesta. Welcome. If you're new, please say hello. And old friends, hi. Hi, Karen. Good morning. How are you doing? Nothing better than getting on to talk about fashion, having one of your favorite illustrators jump right onto the scope. You know how when you get on scope sometime and then you're like, oh, is that me? Welcome, everybody. I wanted to talk briefly today. Thank you. Well, you know, I want you guys to know how much I look forward to seeing you, so I put a little lipstick on. So I'm here today to talk about what you want to learn in fashion and to answer questions for people. I've been teaching all aspects of fashion for the past 20 years. So drawing, pattern making, sewing, illustration, portfolio. Hi, Daniela. Daniela is also an awesome illustrator. Thanks for sharing out. And Daniela illustrates everything. In fact, Karen, you and Daniela already know each other's work. I wonder. You guys are so different. Just catching up with the last pair. Oh, hi. So thank you. Hi, Sew Everything. I wanted to tell you about my new course. While also answering any questions anyone has about anything. But I have a new course that's up, and I'm so excited because I'm in it right now. Thank you for sharing. Because the reason I'm so excited is that it's my first digital drawing course. And I always have to tell this story about how I never wanted to learn digital drawing, that I didn't even believe in it, that I was very resistant and rigid against it. For one thing, because I am a very earthy, old school person. I love texture. I love paper and paint. I like getting smudges of pencil all over my face. If you're like that, give me a thumbs up. Thank you, Daniela. So here's the thing, and I know you're going to agree with me. You work with gouache and watercolor a lot, right, Daniela? You too, Karen? Me too, and I love more than anything. Although right now, my kids turned into adults. I have no room in the house, a big mess around here. Lots of, everyone's got stuff. When I work digitally, I can do everything in this little space. And I'm not going to say that one is, it's one or the other. Because the first reason I fell in love using digital apps for art was because I accepted the challenge. I said, if it's going to look flat and stiff and too smooth and too slick, I don't want it. I know that I love, gritty papers and uneven. Oh, you're doing acrylics. And Daniela, do you use acrylics with water? I always picture your work having water in it. I know, Karen. Well, honestly, the reason I started doing it is because I was sharing my work on social media and everything looked pale. It looked so pale and dim. Not that the original illustrations do, but sharing them, they always looked dusty and dark and dim. And also because I bought an iPad. So once I had the iPad, I thought, let's see what this thing can do. So I got a bunch of art and drawing apps, and I got colleagues from Parsons to recommend different ones. Woo! And there was so many that I so didn't like. For example, this is the stylus they sell, the only stylus they sell at the Apple store, the 53 pencil stylus. I don't really like it. It's $60. You have to up your saturation before posting your... Yeah, okay. Yes, and you also have to have good lighting and stuff. The lighting and the saturation and all the sliders. I could definitely... Yeah, it looks like a contracting pencil. It's big and clunky, especially for a mini pad, which is what I have here. Not a mini pad. Or scan it. That's right. And here's another thing. My scanner is office sized, but when I paint, sometimes I like to work really big, and then I can't scan it. Again, I love watercolors. I love gouache. Okay, iPad pen. So what's that? I don't have one of those. I'm not in love with this. And I finally just stopped using it. You know what I've been doing? I work with my finger. Like, I've tried this, and this is like pretty awesome. This is called Sensū, Sensu, and it's whoops, I just got to sign into my app. This does not need to be recharged. Yeah, exactly. That's exactly the words I use. I say thick, and clunky is like the key word. And not only that, when I first bought it, I had a plastic protector on my screen, destroyed the tip in like a day. A day I had already ruined the tip. Fortunately, it came with a spare. So then I read up and I realized I had to take the glass, you know, it only works on glass. Oh, there's a special pencil that comes with it. I can't wait to see. Hang on, I'm trying to, I want to draw something here. But here's to show how, like, some of these can be softer than you think. You know, these are the kind of apps I started getting into, where the ones that are more like organic. But I don't know if you can see, when you use this 53 pencil, it sticks to the glass, so it slows you down, and that's something I don't like. So, and also you have to charge it in your USB port. I've actually never run out of battery, but it just kind of makes me nervous. This doesn't need charging at all. The Sensū brush, I love it. One of my, I got this at Utrecht.com, my favorite art supply place, where all of the supplies for my online courses, I have a kit you could purchase from Utrecht. But the great thing about this brush is it's not actually pressure sensitive, so it's kind of like a lie. Like, it doesn't actually act like the brush, but let me tell you how it slides and glides on the glass. Isn't this cool? This is like an acrylic brush. You see how it's got like brush strokes in it? It's kind of gooey. I love that. It looks great, right? Now the thing is, like in real life, if you use a light line and then what happened? And then you press, you get different line quality. That's not going to happen just because this is a brush. It's really just like using your finger or anything else. But I just love, it has like a slightly weighted handle, and I love that. And it's very smooth and just slides, so it doesn't slow you down. But to be honest, I put the link in my new course, but I forgot to, I can't even remember the name of it now, but the only stylus you can buy at CVS, like pharmacy, is this. It's like $7. It comes with two little styli that are identical, and they look almost like pencil erasers. They have like a little rounded tip, but I love them. They're cheap, and I actually like them better than both of these. They're like this long, and they look like a little pen. But I'll tell you again, personally, and I think that's that part of me that is so tactile, my favorite way to create illustrations in here is with my finger. With my finger. It just, and I know you're thinking, what? iPad mini, big fat finger? But these apps, hang on. I mean, I can zoom. Oh, is that maximum zoom? Oh, okay. I can't zoom in any closer on this because this app is one that I'm not using in my new course because it's iPad only. It's called Adobe Photoshop Sketch app. I adore it because it has natural, gritty looking kind of tools like pencils and things. And can you just see how quickly and easily you can get really inspired, like to create a print or create a texture or even to create a color palette? Look, I can screenshot as I go so I can get step-by-steps. Let me show you a screenshot. You know, if I want my tools not to appear, I can make them disappear by just getting them out of the way. What else did I want to tell you? It's really delicious. Oh yeah, oh sorry, did you get what you needed? You zoom in infinitely. I'm gonna take you over to the Illustrator app, which is actually, ooh, I hope I hadn't deleted what I did the other day. I think I may have. I'm gonna bring you in there just to show you how I created this drawing in this app. Hang on. Yeah, I've been sharing it on social media. And actually, I played with a lot of different backgrounds, and I took pictures every step along the way. Now, this is the app that I don't bring it in until week 2. If you go to my website, my link's in my bio, any of you who are new here, fashionillustrationtribe.com, I offer 2 courses. One is a 16-week intensive that's like a whole semester of the design, drawing, and design course that I teach at Parsons forever. And then the other one is a digital drawing that's focused only on faces. And that's why I created this for the course. And this app I don't do in the first week. I save it for the second week because it's such a slick, you see how slick and smooth. Oops, let me erase what I just did there. Oh, I actually gave her an earring later, but it's not in this. I lost my earring. Okay, but you see how you can zoom in forever, which is why I can use my finger. Okay, that was huge, but I can make my tools as big or as small as I want whenever I want. But because Illustrator is a vector-based drawing, you can zoom in and out infinitely without ever getting pixelated. So I'm fine to draw with my finger. I'm going to leave you with one more tip today before I go, is to remember this. If you draw digitally, you can zoom in to work on detail, right? Don't forget that your drawing is holistic. So it's always really important to step away again. Just like even when you work on paper, you know, right? Karen, Daniela, anyone who's here, you need to step away from your paper to see the whole thing. I always say to my students, one of the reasons we do quick pose exercises is you want to capture the whole pose. Otherwise, quickly, and to live with it. Yeah, but how often do we overwork it too soon, right? Or like sometimes you create a drawing and it kind of haunts you all day. That's what I like about the iPad, is I can put it away. But if I'm working on something on paper, it's usually looking at me and kind of taunting me until I finish it. Sometimes it'll make me a little crazy. It reminds me of like an Edgar Allan Poe story. You know what I mean? Exploring the colors and the different textures and tools in these apps is very, very inspiring. It's very delicious. And I always get pulled off into fantasy land. Yeah, keep assessing your work by stepping away. And that's what I was saying is with my students, I'll tell them, you know, if you're not careful about it, you might just suddenly, you're doing a whole fashion sketch, you may end up spending, you know, half an hour on the ear. You don't want to spend an hour on the ear and then realize that you lost track of how that ear fits in with everything else. So, right, you want to work on details for a time. Like I definitely zoomed in to do the eyes. Whoops. I'm trying to zoom. You zoom by pinching 2 fingers. Like I zoomed in to work on the eye, right? But if I spend too long there without looking at the whole thing, I'll lose track of the balance and feeling of harmony of the whole thing. And I'm not saying there are rules about balance. It's just your own perception, your own sense of what's going on the page. And scale. Exactly. You want to make sure that the proportion of that eye is relevant to the proportion of everything else on that page. So those are some things to think about. Nobody has to draw digitally. And you don't have to draw analog, and you don't have to draw to design. You can create without drawing. You can communicate. Drawing is a very powerful communicator, both in communicating to others and into communicating to yourself. In fact, I took this law of attraction course with Max Ryan, and it's so interesting because we were talking about, you take a journal, you write down what you're experiencing, and anything that's not what you want, you take the statement, you flip it into what you do want. Well, when you're sketching, you're doing the same thing. You put out some ideas, and every time you don't like it, like you said, reassessing the work in progress, when whatever you don't like keeps drawing you towards what you like. So you might sketch the dress once, and then you sketch it 10 times, each with a different neckline. And every time you do it, you're getting more and more ideas and more in touch with what it is that you want. So sketching is a great way to make 25 dresses without having made 25 dresses. You've kind of made them here. You've taken what was in your head and you got it out of your head. And that's hugely powerful in creating. Okay, because you can think and think and think and think and think and think, but until you start writing or drawing, it's sort of stuck. It needs to be expressed, and it's halted in its development a little bit till you put it out there. So, final thought for today, and this is for the beginners who might be signing up for my courses, is it was about putting out your ideas, and you may not be happy with them at first, but perfect can destroy your development. Don't get caught up on perfect. It's better to do than to be perfect. Just start. If you can have a sense of humor. What happened? Something's wrong with my shirt. Have a sense of humor. Have a journey of self-love as you're creating, where you accept yourself and accept others. That's why I like working in community. We get to share our experience. A work won't look great until it's finished. Yes, Daniela, and many times I've also felt that a work looked great 2 hours or 10 minutes before I finished it. Thank you, sweetheart. Sometimes, right, you take something great and you keep, Samina, I haven't seen you in so long. Glad you're here. You keep going and you keep going, and then you kind of killed it. Which is why I love to do screenshots while I sketch digitally. Sometimes. Whereas on paper, I can't really move back in time. And that's okay. Also with Adobe Illustrator sketch app, if you put 3 fingers on the screen and you drag, you can actually scroll through your history all the way back to when you started the drawing, and then slowly scroll forward and watch all the steps pile up, which I think is amazing. I love that. The online course that's digital drawing, I made sure that I'm only using apps that you can use on Android and iPhone, so that no one's left out. But Adobe Photoshop Sketch app, which is the one I just showed you guys, is one that's only available for iOS. So I think I'm going to make a separate course just for that. So my digital drawing course is about expressing fashion and illustrating faces. But once you learn the tools, I mean, you could draw anything. And likewise, even if you didn't have the programs, you could learn how to draw the faces. We're looking at the different angles and how to build the features. And I hope anyone who's interested in signing up, you will go to fashionillustrationtribe.com. You can sign up right under online courses, and you could start today. It's a 4-week program for the digital. It's a 16-week program for the watercolor, gouache, pencils, etc. course. And that actually, there's art supplies, a whole bunch of massive art supplies you can order all at once if you want. That's like $150 for all of the stuff. That's not something, I'm not an affiliate, it's just something you buy. I just pre-chose the art supplies for you. But does anyone have any questions before we wrap up? I'm going to try to scope more often and just do shorter scopes. I did forget to put my timer on though today. And before we wrap up, who's working on something today? I'll tell you, I'm working on my website. So if you do go to my website and anything looks a little funky, it's because I kind of did an overhaul last night, and a lot of it is still... Oh, Alethea's here. We're just wrapping up too. I'm so happy to see you. You're doing a canvas, Daniela. I always think of you as watercolor. So you are doing acrylic on canvas. Hi, Alethea. What are you working on today? We were just wrapping up and we were all sharing what we're working on today. I'm sure you're working on something because I know you're such a busy bunch, all of you. Working on my website and creating the next module of my digital drawing class. Hi, new here. Hello. Leather. Always leather. You know what's interesting? Nice to meet you, by the way. What's your name? I'm looking at your... Rowena. I have never worked with leather in the machine. Ah. Are you making a wardrobe? How many pieces are in the wardrobe? Are you doing like 7 easy pieces? That's one of the projects we do in my design class. You know, interchangeable mix and match pieces. I worked for a leather company, but I never sewed leather myself. 4. That's more like it. Can you tell us what you're doing? You're doing like a skirt, a pant, a jacket, and a top? Or... It's a great, great design challenge to, you know, focus in and pick 4 pieces. And are you using how many fabrics for those 4 pieces? So curious. Skirt, top, pants, cardigan. Are you knitting? Oh my gosh. Special machine for all knit, cut and sew knits. Wow. So using a cover stitch machine. I worked for a private label company once that did all leather and fur, but we also did some knits, and we had all kinds of accounts. I mostly was the fit tech for what are you making with leather? We did Rockaware Juniors and plus size leather jackets. I don't have the machine either. I wish I did though. So do you zigzag or straight? I heard Andrea Sew to Fit saying the other day that she only uses straight stitch for her knits. I thought that was very interesting. Serging. Okay. So it's stretchable. I love my serger. It's a journals and planners. That's awesome. If you want to throw up, anyone wants to throw up their websites, feel free. I love my creative community of women. Well, we also did leather for BB, Chico's, Apple Bottoms, QVC, Burlington, SoMuchTalent.com. And if you got to check out the Perry Crafters group, any of you who aren't in there, if you sew, if you're a maker, definitely check out Alethea's Perry Crafters group. It's a really great community of creative women making things and sharing. So I'm going to wrap up because I want to come on again and again today. And I want to make sure, I just sent a bunch of people to my website, so I want to make sure it looks okay. I'm kind of overhauling it because I love what I do. I don't know about you guys. FashionIllustrationTribe.com. And there is did I not say, yeah, it's a Facebook group, Perry Crafters. Fashion Illustration Tribe, it's also linked in my bio here. It's a 16-week course. Oh, I'm going to screenshot that, Alethea. 16-week course, but you don't get kicked out. Once you're in, you're in. So you can keep your stuff forever. That's the watercolor pencils class, not digital. And we go from beginner model drawing to how to mix colors, how to shade, how to draw, how to work with watercolor, and then actually to create like sets of sketches of your own designs for all levels. Oh, absolutely. Please put your blog link here. Thank you. Oh, and that's what I was saying is I'm overhauling my website because I realize I do all this stuff with so much love. Thank you very much. But not enough self-love. Because as well as doing what I love, I also have my family to support, and I realize I am not putting that first and foremost. So business is the business. I can't wait to get still and dig into my fashion illustration. It's waiting for you, and when you do, just remember that you can email me directly if you need some feedback that you haven't gotten. info@fashionillustrationtribe.com, info@fashionillustrationtribe.com, because I originally created it as like a $2,000 coached program where I'm lavishing everybody with support and attention. But then I also right now I'm only running it as a self-study low-cost course so that I can pop in and out, which I love to do because I love to see what students are doing. But I wanted it not to be so exclusive that no one can take it. I don't only want people who can make the huge investment. I want everyone to be able to enjoy these skills and have access to the course. And that's why I have this self-study. But that means I'm not able to give as much attention to everybody. So email me if there's anything, if you want to send a sketch my way or whatever. And I hope those of you in the class will keep sharing with each other as well, because if you see my scope from yesterday, it's all about how important sharing and witnessing each other is in learning anything, which I'm sure you already know, not just in learning, but in life, but definitely for learning and growing and developing. Witnessing and giving each other feedback, and even the act of sharing our own work and the act of seeing others in a community is super powerful. And I'll leave you with that. I love you. I'm so happy to have you all in my circle, and I hope to see you soon. Back to work, ladies. Well, good night. The day's just starting, Daniela. What do you live in Australia or something? Good night, sweetheart. Sweet dreams. Blessings to you too, my love. I miss Cape Cod sunsets. Thanks for joining me. Danielle's going to bed. We're all just getting up. Have a good day. Bye.